everybody. Welcome back to the Westwood Living Podcast. Tom Leyden with you, and I'm coming to you today from Natick, the offices of Tiffany O'Connell, who is the principal owner. Is that the right description of what your title is here?
It
Principal
is.
partner?
It's actually it's shifting over to CEO because we actually now start having partners come in. But it's been a wonderful journey.
I can't wait to talk about it. So Tiffany started the O'Connell Law Group. You found the O'Connell Law Group on the pages of Westwood Living, probably chuckled at the ads, which we have to start with because I think they're hilarious. For a topic which is very serious, you take a very tongue-in-cheek approach, which makes it a bit more personal, a bit more relatable. And I appreciate it when I see it because it does make you laugh a little bit, but it makes you take a serious topic and think about it. So give me your thought process behind your ad campaign.
Yeah, so thank you, Tom. So for what we do, estate planning and elder law and estate administration, it's a very serious topic, right? It's a very serious topic. This is dealing with people's lives. But that said, so many people don't want to do anything because it's such a serious thing. And so my goal is really to educate people. I really appreciate humor. And I think you can inject humor into such a serious topic. You'll see more of these type of ads show up, but I want people to stop and think, but I also want them to get a chuckle. I mean, you got to have some lightness when you can.
For those of you who may not have seen it, I just want to read some of the copy in the ad. Reason number 6, why every parent needs an estate plan. Your daughter, Mary, waved to you from the stage throughout her first appearance at the Nutcracker this past year. Wants to be a veterinarian when she grows up, either that or Cinderella. Loves to hike in her tutu. Still falls asleep in your lap with a gorgeous picture of a little kid, and then the serious question, what would happen to her if something happened to you? And that's where it gets put in perspective. Is this an effective way to make people understand why your services are so important?
I hope so. Because it is. I mean, it's life, right? There's good things, there's sad things, there's bad things, but yeah, I really hope it makes someone chuckle, but I also hope it makes someone do something. So we're really trying to go to the emotional aspect of it because it's really that emotion that will get people to do something.
I can advocate for estate planning, first person, because I've lost both my parents in the last 3 years. And thank God that they had a plan in place because it just makes that period of time, which is so difficult emotionally and so difficult logistically, particularly when you have siblings and you're trying to figure things out with your family. When there's a plan in place, very clearly stated legally, with people in power and people empowered to do things, it makes that pathway so smooth. So what are the keys that people have to think about when they're thinking about putting together an estate plan, a health plan, a proxy plan, elder care, all of those things that you specialize in?
Yeah, so first of all, it's just to do something, right? Just something. A lot of people think that an estate plan means, oh, I'm doing a will. And yes, that should be something that someone's doing. A will is just saying what someone wants to have happen, but what a lot of people don't realize is a will is just dealing with stuff that goes through the court system. A will doesn't avoid probate or the court system, but it's important to have to make sure things can go easier. Now, a lot of people, though, don't want to go through the court system. And so really sitting down with someone who specializes in estate planning, not someone who dabbles in it, but someone who specializes in it, and really talks with you to make sure that what you're doing makes sense for you, might include a trust, which a lot of people have heard about. And I know that's a whole other topic, so we won't dive in there. But a trust may or may not be appropriate for someone. It depends on someone's goals. It can help avoid the court system. But it's not just a will and or a trust. It's also having a power of attorney in place so that if someone needs to handle financial stuff in your name, someone can do it when it's needed. And it's also dealing with health decisions, right? So many people think, oh, estate plan is just for when I've died. No, an estate plan is also for when you're living, but you just can't take care of things, whether it's financial, power of attorney, or trust, or health decisions, which in Massachusetts we call a healthcare proxy. So those documents are crucial in having the conversation. Elder law, a whole other topic, but as someone ages, there's so much people should be thinking about in addition to those documents to help make their journey forward smoother, not just for them, but also for their loved ones.
And when you think about the audience that we hit on a monthly basis, you're dealing with a lot of families, a lot of people in my generation who are going both ways, right? You got parents who are aging, and you've got kids who are coming up, and we'll talk in a separate podcast about the importance of getting something in place even when your kid turns 18. But a major question that most people probably have is, oh my God, how long is this going to take? Isn't that a hesitation people have? Like, I don't have the time to focus on this.
Oh, gosh,
But then they rue the day that they said that, because at the end of the rainbow, it becomes a nightmare. So generally speaking, and I hate to put you on the spot, but it's kind of what I do sometimes. How long does it take for someone to put something like this together?
Well, you'll love this answer. It depends. So, one, it depends on how driven that person is to get something done. It also depends on the attorney. Some attorneys will go very slowly, whether because it's just how they do things or they're just very overwhelmed. We at our firm, I always tongue-in-cheek say it's because of my military background, we're very system-oriented. And so for a client that comes in, they want to do something. And by the way, we're doing everything on Zoom, on video conference, except for signing, which still has to be in person. So you can do it from the comfort of your own home, in your slippers, drinking your coffee or tea. But we can get something done within a month to 6 weeks. So it really doesn't have to be a long process.
You threw a lot in there. I should have taken some notes. We're going to start right now with the military experience and kind of how you ended up here following your passion to be a lawyer. But tell me about the military experience.
Yeah, so for me, for the military experience, so I went in as an Army reservist for the JAG Corps, so as an attorney. So I always tell people I was mightier with the pen than the sword. But it was really, truly my honor. I never served overseas, but I did serve for a short 2-year period active duty in Washington, D.C. And my role was to represent disabled soldiers as they were going through the disability process through Walter Reed Hospital. And so it was such an honorable position to do, at times a very sad position to do, but it was just so wonderful trying to help these soldiers. So anyway, it was actually through that experience that I found out I loved estate planning. Because prior to that experience, I was never going into estate planning. It just seemed way too dry in law school. Didn't want to do it, but it wasn't until actually talking with the soldiers and actually realizing, oh my gosh, this is about people. This is about people. This is about values. This is about helping people, that I realized that estate planning was for me.
And you moved back up here to Massachusetts and started the O'Connell Law Group, which if you look at your website, it jumps out at you. You are, if not 100% women. Is it 100% women?
It is 99% women. We have one token male, my dad, who is actually the CFO of the company, and he is such an invaluable, priceless resource for me. We're actually about to go on our firm retreat down to the Cape, actually later today. And my dad will be there for when the whole team is there, and he's like, oh goodness, Tiff, I'm the only male, aren't I? And I'm like, yeah, Dad, you are. Now, it's not purposeful. It just has happened that way. So we actually have had some amazing male law clerks come through. So please, anyone that's interested, no matter what your gender is, we'd be happy to talk with you for coming into the firm. But yeah, it is all women.
I think it's phenomenal. You know the work that I do with the Women's Empowerment Scholarship, and that's how one of the reasons I was attracted to your firm at the beginning, because it jumped off the screen at me. I was like, wow, this is a really intriguing company, an intriguing fit. What sort of advice do you give to somebody when they knock on your door and they know nothing? If someone says, hey, I need help, and let's focus specifically on the estate planning thing, hold their hand. What do you tell these people as they come through?
Yeah, so one of the things that we really strive to do is we really want someone to understand what they're doing and be comfortable with what they're doing. So education is a very big component to what we do. Just because I want people to understand why do they need a will? What does it do? So we take the time. So basically that first meeting when they come in is our firm going to be a good fit for them? And then assuming that's the case, then meeting with the attorney, then the education really starts. And we keep that education going even after they become a client through our newsletter, through blogs, soon to be a podcast ourselves. But just that education is so important because one, it helps them, but also two, it helps them talk to others so that others know what they need to do.
You didn't mention what you regularly do on Zoom. You and all of your colleagues are regularly hitting different topics with these webinars that people are able to sign up for. How successful have they been?
Those have been wonderful. And so, first of all, they're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun for us to do. And because it's on Zoom, we can be anywhere and just hop on and do this Zoom. And so we've really found that we want to educate people. We want them to understand. We want to help galvanize people to actually do something. And so it seems like it has been helpful. I think we can always improve, but that said, I think it has been helpful.
And it's a different type of business, I would think, because you're not selling widgets. You're trying to cultivate a potential client over a number of years, because it might take somebody who's 25, 30, say, well, I'm not necessarily ready for that yet, though they should be.
Yes, they should.
It sometimes does, I would guess, take a bunch of time for someone to really focus in and say, okay, it's time. Is that fair to say that it sometimes you are fishing for a while to land a client?
Correct. I mean, it can be a very long journey before someone will actually come see us. And technology has been very helpful in seeing sometimes how long that can be, because we can really, in a way, see, okay, they signed up for a webinar, they signed up for a newsletter, they ordered a copy of my book. So it just really, you can see their journey. And again, we want to be there to provide those resources for them so that when it is a right time for them, they're ready to do something.
So tell us about the book and also other ways that people might be able to get in touch with you and learn more about what you do here at the O'Connell Law Group.
So I do have a book. So if you go to our website, o'connelllawgroup.com, so there's 3 L's in a row. Our apologies on that, but o'connelllawgroup.com, you'll actually see a link to the book. And so I wanted to write a book on estate planning because, again, so many people don't understand what it is, what they should be thinking about, what the documents mean. Yes, it's dry. But that said, I wanted to make it, again, in a way, a little humorous. I wanted to make sure that people could really understand what everything was. So I made it into an illustrated book. So I have this amazing illustrator that I've been working with. Her name's Joy Murphy. She is phenomenal. And so the book actually shows a story all the way through of someone's journey for an estate plan. It shows the mess that can happen if someone doesn't do anything. And it shows what can happen if someone actually does something. And so I'm amazed. We still get people requesting the book.
Great.
Monthly. It's amazing. So I think the best way for reaching out to us is to go to that website. Again, o'connelllawgroup.com. You'll find our information on it. You can kind of check us out. You'll also see a tab for resources. That's something that we're very much building out because, again, we want to be a go-to resource for people for information.
And that's what you do. And I've appreciated getting to know you and your firm. By the way, your staff is very buttoned up. I mean, from top to bottom, the communication every single week, every single month, even lining up this appointment to speak with you today was just incredibly professional. And it keeps people on their toes, I think. It says like, okay, we're dealing with a true expert here, which is a great characteristic to have. And you've surrounded yourself with people who represent you well. So congratulations.
Thank you. My goal has been to surround myself with people that are better than me.
Ooh, I like that. That is Tiffany O'Connell. She is the head of the O'Connell Law Group. You heard where to go, o'connelllawgroup.com. In fact, in a separate podcast, we're going to talk specifically about...
Yes, about how a young adult should also have their own estate plan.
So all of you parents like me who have children who are in high school approaching 18, that will be a topic for all of us to pay attention to. But for now, with Tiffany, I'm Tom. Thank you so much for listening to the Westwood Living Podcast.